And so why did I start talking about that? I don't know. Different, I guess. Different. Oh, I would go to, right? I would go in I had a art room, quotes, right? I speak, art room. And I would go around to, I taught from kindergarten to high school, and I had a blind class and a trainable class, or no, educable class, and so which I really enjoyed, probably most of all, actually, because the seventh, and that school was the strangest thing, that school was grouped, what do you call it, homogeneously, like, all the people of a certain IQ or something were one class, so you'd go from a little above Neanderthal, to, I don't know what they're talking about in the 7th grade, and you got to make that jump in a matter of changing classes. That's ridiculous, and we don't live that way in life, That's a dumb way to run schools, it seems to me. So anyhow, I like the 7th and 8th grade one ahead, because like the gals were usually about 22 years old, Like big, really, see, that would be something. And but I would go around to this, and so I'd go around to the teacher's room, and you look, and here they'd have like all the snowmen would be on the windows, right? And it'd all be the same color and the same size, And look out there, here's 30 different kids, How the hell can that be? So my biggest thing was trying to get the teacher to figure out, how could they do that, How can you have 30 snowmen the same, you got 30 different kids here, So that was why, I got out of it, because we're different, I said, think about that, Jesus, man. Anyhow, let's get this to go. So I watch what's happening. These pots then are different, Each one has a little something that's unique to it, Because I think art's kind of about that, It's about that working on the edge of disaster a lot, or the one part of it, about the uniqueness of it, the ordinary and commonplace as related to the extraordinary. That's, I think, art goes on to the extraordinary. The ordinary I don't think it has much to do about art, you know what I mean? See? So I think about that, like, does that piece, does that form really, is really valid for existing right now? I think about that, I'm pretty critical about it. Say the ones you let survive, Anyhow, so I cut the foot off, see, all right? Now just in here. I gotta do things like that, I usually end up pinching them, doing a little something, altering them, because it's about, put that back around. They don't usually stay around too much, and that's okay. Because I'm not in around, Well, none of us are too much in around. I don't like getting around. Matter of fact, being around is a little boring, That's why I like jazz. That's a little out of center, I like things like that. All my friends are all off center. Man, that's the only reason I relate to them, because I'm off center. We're all off center. We got a board or something.
Yeah, I got board.
Yeah, I can just, well, okay. I could have talked about that. I'll just put it there.
Let's go, Joe, go.
There. Back, get back, back. I left it back in the hotel room. But, listen, whatever. Put those right there. We'll just put some on the board. Okay?
We got more boards right there.
Creativity. See that? Yeah, it's everything, And so. Let's do that. We'll just take, I need something to tool, that's all, to show you tooling. Yeah. I want to try to show you all those things, So we'll probably run the whole gamut of things here, I'll get going. I don't know why it's doing that. If I'm making bowl forms, which I guess I've decided to do, right now with these things anyhow, I start out with that in mind, and so that I don't open up this cylinder, see, and then force it into a bowl, start out right away into the bowl form, If I'm going to do a bulbous piece, I won't start out doing a cylinder, first and bending it out, because when you're doing that, the clay particles together, see. I mean, you start blowing that out, you're pulling those particles apart, so it makes them weak. But if you throw that section, then you're compressing them, and you boy, you'd be surprised how long you can handle your clay. Let's see what happens with this one. So we know, like I know it's going to be a bowl shape, and that's really all I'm concerned about right now, I guess the rest of it will just sort of, take care of itself as it grows. I guess this one is going like that, okay? And that's pretty neat too, you know. I mean, you start out working sometimes, and you just let the clay sort of take you where it's going. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that either sometimes, you know. Mixing bowl here or something. Seems like it wants to divide itself here, so we'll do that. We'll let it do that. Before I come down, I want to try to set that down lower here, see, so but because it's a little bit softer than I want, so I'll work up here and finish this before I come back down on here. And the last thing, I'm just sort of set it down. See, I got to figure out what's happening up here. You know, something has to happen up here. That's a nice kind of a skirt right there. You know, I kind of like that, sit hanging out over top up there. I like that. We'll deal with that a little bit here. Now I guess I'll go over here. There's got to be a reason for going over there. No, there's a reason for going over there.
Hold on a second. Okay. 1 to 5 bricks is $1.95. 6 to 10 bricks are $1.85. 11 to 24 bricks are $1.65.
Kind of nice just to set your tools, you know, set your tools out there, and that's what you're going to work with. So all those marks that come from those tools is those tools you decided to use that day, you know. So you must have selected those tools because you felt like that, you know, that day. So that's a good reason to have them laying in front of you, you know. Like in your own studio, obviously you have all these tools, maybe all this stuff and junk and those sticks and twigs and everything you have saved there. You know, they're really important things, you know. The fact that you collected them was important, you know. The fact that you bent down to pick the stone up is enough reason to hang on to it for a little while. It must have had something going for it between you, you know. And that's sort of the communication that we're after here, I think, a lot of times, you know, is whatever that is that makes you bend over to pick that stick up, whatever that is, that's what I like about a piece of art or a piece of pottery, so forth. That, whatever that is, I don't know what that is, that abstract quality there, you know, I like that. And hopefully that the piece can, you know, relate to you so that you'll feel, you know, free enough to do. Pick it up. I think it's important to pick up pots. It's important. But you will establish, and we talked about that weight thing, okay? You're going to establish your own weights, you know? You'll establish your own weights. When I'm working too, I'm working as it relates to, like, I'm thinking about salting these things, okay? Salt firing, not covering things up with glaze. That was another revelation to me. Now, when I was making them work, every time I glaze it, I'd say, geez, I really liked it better before I glazed it, you know? I have all my marks, you know? All my marks were not there. My signatures were gone. I wiped it out with somebody else's glaze. Usually a Shaner glaze or somebody else's glaze. There were always these people's names. Lewis Yellow, Shaner glazes, Ferguson's glazes, Ritz, you know? I weren't even my own glazes, you know? I was, what the hell is this, you know? I have to start making my own glazes that fit my own pots, you know? So I started that way to make my own glazes. But even my own glazes didn't mean a hell of a lot after I covered up all those wonderful marks. So the marks were more important. So that's why this, I kept looking for, you know, ways of retaining these marks and things I would do. So that's when I began, then I tried cigolatas. I worked for quite a while with cigolatas, chair cigolatas, because they didn't hide things, they revealed things, you know, but it wasn't quite, but it was sort of a dryness about it that I didn't like, you know. Then I would accent with glaze a little bit. Then I went into, there was a wood firing, you know, so that seemed to be okay, but everything was brown and dark, and I didn't care for that at all, you know, that much, but I liked it. And one day, and as long as we're into it, I'll just tell you one day how I got into salt. Okay, quick, this will just be quick, I promise, you know. But it's important how sometimes little things happen. You get into these things. See, I went to Alfred after this horrendous experience with the public school systems, and I went to Alfred, and I'm coming into the kill room at that time. Alfred was different than it is now, and I come into that means nothing was bad. It was smaller, you know, it was kind of a closer thing. I go into the kill room, and this guy's sitting there by this kill, you know, with this bottle of wine, you know, and it was Dick Leach sitting there, see, from Albion, Michigan, Dick. And I said, Dick, what are you doing? He says, I'm firing this in kill. I said, yeah. I said, wow, what kind of kill is that? He says, this is salt kill. I said, really? No kidding. He said, yeah, it's salt kill. I said, how do you do that? He said, well, sit down here and I'll tell you. I said, okay. So I sat down, what do we do? Well, I said, the first thing you got to do is drink this gallon of wine. I said, all right. This seems to make a lot more sense than all other things, you know. It seemed to be a good idea. I said, all right, well, we'll do that. And I said, okay, what do I do? He said, then it's time to throw this salt in there. I said, just salt? Yeah, just salt. You throw the salt in there, ice cream salt, and then it melts and all gets all over stuff in there. It's really neat. I said, oh, okay, this will be fine. So we think it's pretty something, you know, I definitely think it's time to salt this kill. I don't know, you know. See, I think you're right. And I said, yeah, you're right. It's time to salt this kill. I said, what did it take about a gallon of wine? It's time to salt. And that time we were putting the salt in little packages, you know, we wet the package and we throw it in a firebox. So he said, here, just throw that in there. So I'd take it, you know, I'd throw it in there. Bam! It would explode. You know, wow, it back. I said, all right. Now, I get it right. Throw it in there. Pow! Bang! All right, it's burning my shirt. All right, early into this now. All right, this is really living, you know. And so I said, this is great. He said, yeah, there you go. Throw it in there. So then I had just a little bit left in his bucket, you know, about like that. And he says, throw it in there. I threw it in there, you know, and of course it was all water, you know. It goes, bam! And the bricks come flying out the door. He says, all right. Oh, this has got to be a lot better than what I've been doing before. You know, I mean, the kill room was full of smoke and we're gagging. All right, this is, I'm really getting into it now, you know. It's really good, you see. And we're etching all the glass in the chemistry labs and everything. Yeah, right. That's great. All the squirrels' hair are falling out. It was great. And so, so then I discovered this process, which was as theatrical as I was, you know, and it was about participation, you know. It was about drama and theater and playing, you know, and all those wonderful things. The act of firing became an important thing. It wasn't just boom, boom, you know what I mean? So I said, all right, and we brought the pots out. Of course, we had too much. I mean, the pots were running, and, you know, I don't like runny salt now. I like just a skin on there, see. But I saw the potential here, and it's, oh, this is terrific, and so that's when I started salt glazing. I didn't do anything but salt ever since then. You know, I'll do some reduction firing for the, you know, for school. I mean, for the kids when I demonstrate and stuff like that. But I don't do anything but the salt firing. But that's how I get into it. So you never know what little thing is going to lead you to, and change my whole life. And it changed my attitude towards the clay. You know, it was a tremendous freedom that I felt with clay. Now I said, you know, it's all right. You know, as these pots have to be loose enough to accept this spontaneous probability, what's happening in this kill, you know? And that's the way I am. So my pots, you know, that I was covering up with this glaze, was always trying to fight, get out from underneath this glaze, you know? And now that we're free to be out there, you know, and everybody could see all that stuff that was going on, and I could see, you know, it was really nice. And I got thinking then about the possibility of color, you know, it was slips and oxidation firing and reduction firing, and all these things. So then for a good many years, my search was to gain color in salt and give salt some viability with a palette. I don't like browns that much, you know. I like them on the early American jugs and things, but that's about it, you know. But other than that, and the cobalt, I like cobalt's a tough one, you know. I don't like blue. Blue and clay, I have a hard time to go together for me with blue and clay. It's very, very difficult. The right blue, it's hard to, but you always make one blue pot a year, you know, just to make sure you say, yeah, I don't like that. But you never know. So you might change last year. You might like blue, see? As of now, but you make one blue one every year, see? And so anyhow, that's, you know, like that, see? I don't know what I'm doing here. I wouldn't normally be, you know, talking to myself this much, but I do talk to myself when I'm working, see? Because I don't like it when it's so quiet, you know? I put all these little scars in there and things, you know? And I also like the potential of accenting and even glorifying, you know, the imperfections of things, of people, you know, and the imperfect, that's what makes us different, you know, our faults, you know, our imperfections. We're not perfect, see, and the pots aren't that way, see. They all have their own character, and so I kind of like that, you know, and I just, you know, and like dealing with the clay that way, and, you know, scarring up a little bit, give them a little something in there, so just,
I recall some.
There was a time when, you know, there was a time when I'd sand all that off, you know?